Welcome to the Executive Hub Show. My name is Mustafa Hosseini, your host at the Executive Hub Show. Our aim is to help you grow your business with simple tips and strategies from successful entrepreneurs. This episode is brought to you by Persyo, the experts in strategic marketing planning. They'll help you stop guessing and start growing with a clear, simple strategy so you can grow your business with less stress. To get us started with your plan today, visit www.persyo.com/strategy. Persyo is PERSYO.com. My guest today is Edwin Eaton. Welcome, Edwin.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. Our topic today is Edwin is talking about his journey going from a cleaning startup to the industry innovator, and he's got a very interesting story about how he built his business and his software and the whole 9 yards, and we're going to talk about it. Let me do the proper introduction to Edwin, and we're going to dive into that interesting conversation. Over a decade ago, Edwin took a leap of faith and founded iPro Building Services alongside his wife. Together, they built the business from the ground up, transforming it into a thriving company that now employs over 200 dedicated individuals. The relentless hard work and commitment to excellence have earned iPro Building Services prestigious recognition on the Inc. 5000 and Inc. Regionals list, celebrating the fastest growing private companies in America. Well, Edwin, welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you.
How is your day so far?
So far, so good. I don't have sunshine out. It's wintry weather, snow out there, but I'm here.
Beautiful. And whereabout are you?
So I am in Wenatchee, Washington. It's also known as the Apple capital of the world. So we're smack dab right in the center of Washington State, about 2.5 hours east of Seattle.
Very nice. And it's pretty cold out there. Is it like a mountainy type of environment, geography?
It is, yeah. We're in the valley, so we get all 4 seasons here. And if you like the outdoors, we have greenery, mountains, everything right here for you.
Love it. So let's dive into it. Edwin, what is your story?
Yeah, so my name is Edwin Eaton, and I'm the owner of iPro Building Services, among other businesses as well. But so commercial cleaning, how does somebody get in that? Well, it wasn't something that I thought, let's just get into it, right? Commercial cleaning, it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but it is a necessary industry. And so I saw that there was potential there. And back in college, my college roommate's uncle owned a commercial cleaning business, and it was up and down all over the Seattle area. He called us one night when we were sitting on the couch watching probably the Seahawks play or something, but phone rang and his uncle asked us if we wanted to clean a couple banks for him because he had a couple cleaners that had quit. I'd never cleaned before other than our apartment. And basically he was speaking the language to college kids. He said, I will pay you with beer money if you would do this for me for the next couple of weeks. And so we held the fort down for a couple of weeks. Not the best cleaner in the world, but we didn't have any complaints. Fast forward, 10 years later, I had to move back to Wenatchee from the Seattle area to take care of my parents, and really wasn't anything in hotels, which I went to school for. And so the next best thing I could think of was hey, let's start a commercial cleaning company. And this is where I'm at, and this is where I've been ever since.
Love it. And then so that kind of inspired you to start your business. Was that the inspiration with working with your uncle?
It wasn't my uncle, it was my college roommate's uncle. But yeah, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I hear all the stories from everybody. So it was just something I thought, let's take a shot and let's just see what happens. And again, like I said, I haven't looked back since.
Love it. So then who do you serve and what do you do for them?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, it was a little bit of both residential and commercial. And I learned really fast that residential is not where I wanted to be, with people watching us, looking over our shoulder the whole time. And then I finally realized that commercial cleaning was the space to be, because it was at night after all the business, everybody inside that business had left. So it just made more sense to me. Where we're located at, like I said, in Wenatchee, Washington, we get all 4 seasons, but the nice thing is we have a lot of rivers, and with rivers means there's dams, and with dams means there's cheap power. And so cheap power means all the big Fortune 500 company tech places have moved into our area. So Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, we have data centers galore. And I mean, you think about it, from Amazon to Microsoft to Intel to Meta to Apple, they're all over the place. And so we are in an agricultural area. So if you see a big, concrete building, most people think it's an apple shed or some kind of fruit warehouse. But nowadays, those are data centers. And so they range anywhere from 250,000 square feet to 750,000 square feet plus, and they need cleaning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so we kind of fell into that industry, and that's kind of our niche now. And that's where we just keep going and we keep growing with these data centers that new ones just keep moving into our area almost monthly.
Wow, that is amazing. I had no idea that where there is a dam, there's cheap power and
Mm-hmm.
companies come around and they build around it.
Yep.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, what is the problem that you solve and how do you solve it for your customers?
Yeah. I mean, everybody needs cleaning, even if they think they don't. You know, you go in the restroom, you're out of toilet paper. What happened, right? Or there's debris on the floor and stuff like that. And so, for a lot of these places, I'll just go back to like the data centers. It has to be a clean environment. You look at medical facilities; it has to be a clean environment. It's got to be healthy for, any of the occupants, any of the customers that are going to come into those facilities. So it is necessary. It's a necessity to have a clean building. And again, back to the data centers, it's one of those things, like even the smallest particles of dust, they can't have that in there. And so it's very meticulous cleaning. And so we've just learned over the years that, if you're going to differentiate yourself, it's about all these different types of certifications you can get, all these different types of buildings. I'm not going after these small buildings that maybe just need to be cleaned 1 or 2 times a week. I'm going after the big buildings that I know I have the experience in, that are hundreds of thousands of square feet and 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. Those are the types of things that we look for, because we know we can solve their problems and help their buildings stay clean.
Very interesting. So another thing that was interesting for me is you said you got certification for
Mm-hmm.
this. You need to get certification for the cleaning service that you guys do.
Technically, no. But again, if you want to differentiate yourself from the competition, it's always nice to have these industry certifications. It just makes you look like you're a player in the game and that you really know what you're doing, so that when myself or my sales staff goes out to speak with our clients, we're not just another cleaning company that says we're going to do this, this, and this. We actually have the certifications to back it up, that shows that we really know what we're doing.
Very interesting. I had no idea. No idea. So let's
It's
work
a
on
whole nother world.
it is. And could you maybe talk about some certifications that you guys have that kind of helps you differentiate from the rest of the pack?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's all types that are out there, but let's reference the pandemic when it hit. That came out, and a lot of our industry, the big players, they call it ISSA, which is the big organization that all cleaning companies become a part of. They have their certifications. And so when the pandemic hit, there was electrostatic spraying. How do you disinfect? How do you do it the proper way? Do you want somebody to come in with just a fogger, or do you want somebody to come in with the actual correct product, which is like an electrostatic spraying gun, and knowing the right type of chemicals to use and the right types of procedures? So it's certifications like that that kind of put us on a whole nother level, that we can come in and say, we're not just a mom and pop cleaning company, we're a professional cleaning company that has a certification. So when we tell you we're going to disinfect your facility, we're going to do it the right way. And that's with the equipment and with the chemicals and with the proper PPE and all that kind of stuff with our employees.
Love it. That's a great way to kind of differentiate in a what I would call an industry that is very competitive, and the barriers to entry are kind
Cheap.
of very easy to get in. I mean, you pick up
Mm-hmm.
a broom and a mop, and you're like, I'm a cleaner. You show up and start selling.
I mean, and that's the thing. There's a lot of people, excuse me, who are cleaners that see an easy way that it doesn't cost very much. So they figure they can just get into the industry. Again, a low cost barrier. But what happens is they forget that there's a lot more to business than just cleaning. And so there's the sales
Hmm.
aspect of things, there's the financial aspects of everything, there's the hiring, there's the firing, there's the certifications. And so there's a lot. So every month you're going to see thousands upon thousands of new commercial cleaning companies come into the industry. And every month you're going to see thousands upon thousands of them go out of business because they did not realize what they were getting themselves into.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Sales, consistency in finding customers, being able to deliver, like what you mentioned about treating the chemicals or writing using the
Mhm.
right chemicals
You,
for a
you
certain
you can't
cleaning
use,
aspect.
yeah, you
That's a
can't
whole
use
science.
chemicals off, at your local grocery store. And I see that all the time, from the mom and pop places that do that. And you can't. They think because it smells good, it's going to disinfect. But honestly, you're causing more harm than you are good.
Oh yeah. There's a science
There
into
is,
it, I'm
there
guessing.
is.
So, give us an example, maybe a case study of a client, obviously keeping their privacy. Uh, example of a client, how you find them, and what was the challenge they were having that you guys helped them
Yeah,
with?
to find the clients in the beginning, really, if you're connected in the communities that you live in, it's not too difficult. I mean, I call it a good old boy network where I'm from. So you got to know somebody that knows somebody to get into these places. So in the beginning, that's how it worked. And so getting into the dental offices,
Hmm.
the insurance companies, the lawyer offices, that wasn't a problem. But then when you talk about a medical facility, a hospital, or a manufacturing plant, again, this goes back to getting the certifications that you need. This is the kind of stuff that they look at, and they look at what type of chemicals that you're using and things like that. So over the course of X amount of years of being in the industry, I've learned that, okay, I know if I'm going to a medical facility, I know from failing the last time, I need to have this, and that in place to be able to get it. And so those are kind of the things, those are challenges. And again, the smaller companies, they don't know that yet. But again, it's a learning, I call them learning steps for companies that are just getting into it. I mean, I was knocking on doors in the beginning and being told no, but I would be aggressive and ask them, what is the reason why you didn't hire me? What's the reason why you didn't hire my company? Well, because you're not doing X, Y, and Z. And so it's okay. I'm going to go to that same type of
Oh, okay.
facility and I'm going to add those into what I'm doing. I'm going to learn about it. And then I'm going to go back to this facility and I'm going to tell them I did everything that they needed me to be certified in or do. And I'm going to go after and try to get that account.
Very important that the persistence in learning the question of why did you not hire me, I think helps identify the problem and then fix your sales funnel or fix the offer and go back and
I'm competitive.
I guess
I'm
earn their
competitive. So
business.
if I get told no, it's just telling me that there's an opportunity for me to come back and get it. I just have to reinvent what I'm doing and make myself a little bit better the next time I go to their doorstep.
Oh yeah. Do you since you say you're competitive, do you play any sports, like any competitive
Yeah,
sports?
growing up, I did. Soccer, basketball, football. I mean, any sport, I played it. And then into college, I was playing soccer. And then now, I think, I guess you could call me kind of old because I'm playing pickleball competitively now and racquetball, right? Um, but you got to stay
Oh
in
yeah.
shape, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I started lifting weights for my shoulder because my rotator cuff got so weak. And then yeah, I started lifting weights about a
That's
month
good.
ago
I can tell. I can
because
tell.
you got to stay in shape.
I can tell.
You can
Yeah.
tell? Oh wow. It's starting to show up when I'm wearing clothes. I have to take my clothes off to see some because it's been like a month and a half or
Okay.
so. I was telling my workout partner, my buddy, that we got to give it at least 90
Yeah.
days before you
Just
know
just
we
stick
see
to it.
something.
Yep.
Keep going, keep going. Um, Edwin, I know that while we're at it, you said that you're playing pickleball competitively. How often do you play, and why? What's your reason to
Yeah.
do it? Is that to stay
Yeah.
in shape, or how
Stay
does
in
it help
shape.
you?
I was talking to somebody earlier. Being an entrepreneur sometimes is lonely, and so you got to kind of break away from what you're doing every day in business, right? You got to be able to get back to the friends and stuff that I've got friends that I'm in a different path than they are. They have 9 to 5 jobs. I'm an entrepreneur. I kind of do my thing, but when we meet back in the middle, we have all the same interests. When it comes to sports or something like that. So it's my way of just getting back to them, clearing my head, having a good time, and just reconnecting with my friends out there.
Love it, love it. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, the entrepreneurial world is very lonely as we try to navigate this path, and sometimes we experience setbacks. And I think workout and hanging out with friends, like you said, helps quite a bit with this
It does.
journey. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise, we go like I was reading somewhere saying the odds of an entrepreneur experiencing a mental some sort of mental problem is 70%.
Yeah, you know what?
And in
Well, I was just going to
general,
say, I heard something too that most entrepreneurs have ADHD, they're bipolar, and something else, that you've got some of those traits in
oh
you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, with all that pressure and all the stress that entrepreneurs
Yes.
experience, I guess we got to find a way to let it go and hang out with friends and get some support
A
and
good
rest.
whiskey every once in a while will do wonders,
To
right?
loosen up. What's your favorite whiskey?
Oh, a buddy of mine, he had, it's a long story, but he tried a whiskey called Pappy Van Winkle. And I had the opportunity to try it out. And I got to say, that stuff's pretty good. It's very expensive when he went to order it, and I heard the price, but he said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it this time around." But it's very good. I think for a shot, it was like $150 for this. So, and you
150
would
bucks
hope
a
that it would
shot?
taste really, really good for $150. I didn't pay for it, so I'm okay with trying it out.
Oh wow. But so did it taste good or no?
I mean, honestly, it was, I mean, I think whiskey to me, sometimes all whiskeys kind of taste the same. I think it was a little bit better than most of the whiskey that I drink. I'll give it that.
Okay. All right. Listen, a little bit better. It wasn't like tasting
No.
worse because sometimes you pay more
Yeah,
and
no, it definitely wasn't worse. No.
all right, good enough. Perfect. So I know we already kind of touched on it, but is there anything else that you guys do that helps you differentiate from the rest of the pack out there and kind of stand
Yeah,
out?
you have to, and you got to think outside the box. So, we're in the cleaning industry. So if you're in the cleaning industry and you're a cleaning business owner, you have to clean. And I mean, that's the bottom line. And so how do you differentiate yourself? So if you go to my social media and stuff like that, it's all about my people. And so really, I think it was a few years ago that, I didn't believe in it, but I really do now. And it was company culture. Company culture really makes a difference. And so as I started really looking into that, and I started just trying out things, I did employee of the month in the beginning, and then, everybody does that, and it kind of failed. Every employee of the month, 2, 3 months down the road, they ended up quitting, and I couldn't figure it out. And they said,
Hmm.
well, we got employee of the month, but it was almost like we had a target on our back, and people resented us because somebody else thought they should have got employee of the month. And so that they felt all that resentment. So they just left. And it's like, okay, I'm scrapping this right away.
Yep.
So what can we do? Birthdays, well, there's some religions that just don't celebrate birthdays. So I don't want to alienate more people. So we started with what we do is anniversaries, work anniversaries. Like, you can't get mad at anybody for putting in their time, right? And having an anniversary. So we really structured it that way. So any anniversary that happens, we're on it. We're celebrating that. We're making it known that, you're a rock star with our company. And so we throw parties. And so over the years, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And so some months we'll have 15 plus anniversaries that we do. And people start to catch on. Like, I've got a manager, she knows exactly when her anniversary date is. And if I don't get her anniversary on that date, she calls me out on it. Which is a good thing, because they understand how this works with the culture that we've created. But now when we throw these parties, we'll bring, 5, 10, 15 of them in here into our office at one time. You pull into our parking lot and there's about 50 cars outside. It's because they're all hiding in the office, ready to yell surprise and happy anniversary to the people that walk in. And so we make it like a huge party. Balloons, we've got a little Instagram frame that we have. They hold up, they take the picture. In football, if there's an interception, they've got the defensive chain that these players wear. I have a chain and it says anniversary of the month for them. So we kind of go all out when it comes to that. And that's made us different than the competition. And it's stuck out, not just to the company itself, but our on LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. I've gotten multi-million-dollar contracts from LinkedIn because the facility managers, the procurement managers see those posts that we're doing. And the pain points that they have is their cleaning company can't keep their employees. Then they look at me and they ask me, Edwin, what are you doing differently? Like, I see like your culture, like your employees are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years with you. What are you doing to get them to stay? So it's almost, it's an icebreaker. It's a talking point. And again, I've gotten a ton of contracts just by kind of pivoting and moving my company in a direction that I think that works, which is company culture.
That's amazing. That's so. Just to be clear, those anniversaries are anniversaries of when people started working with you. Is that what it is?
Correct. Yep.
So they started on March 1st, and every year we got an anniversary
Yeah.
celebration.
So we'll go out. I mean, like, here's one that got put on my desk. We'll get them a plaque. get them a gift card. Every year there's a dollar amount associated with that, and once they get to 10 years, the whole thing is you get all kinds of goodies. But at 10 years, I will work your entire shift for a week. You'll get a week vacation paid, and I as the owner of the company, I will go out and I will work your shift for the whole week. Whatever
Man.
accounts you have, if it's till 4 or 5 in the morning, I'm going to do it. And so I've got a couple people that are very close to that, and they let me know, like, hey, I've got another year and my 10 year is up. So be ready. Don't plan any of your vacations around this because you're taking care of my accounts. And by the way, I have a bar and it's really bad at 2 a.m. when the bar closes. So good luck with that.
Oh wow,
So, but
man.
it's got them involved. And in the commercial cleaning industry, there's a lot of Spanish speaking employees and just different languages. And what's happened and what we've created is people come in together now to celebrate each other, but where they weren't seeing each other all the time and interacting, even if they don't speak the same language, they're still somehow interacting with each other. And that piece is what's huge to me, because I think a lot of businesses miss the mark on that the more you get them involved, the better communication you're going to have in your company. Your company's just going to grow from that.
I love it. That is an amazing strategy, and a beautiful differentiator. Although it's very simple, but I'm for what I've seen, most companies don't do a lot of or enough recognition for their employees
Right.
to keep them around. Company culture in an industry that I'm certain employee retention is very poor.
Big time. Yeah. I
And
mean, you talk to anybody and they'll tell you this industry is horrid. It's hard to find employees. It's hard to keep employees. So yeah.
oh yeah, and that so I'm guessing that you came up with a simple and solid strategy to keep your people,
Mhm.
have that sense of belonging and the sense of community, and you give them the reward and recognition, and they stick around because
But
they see the recognition.
But here's the other thing. We do a lot of data centers. And if you've never been in a data center, I'll just kind of give you a quick story on what they look like. I mean, they're amazing. People riding on scooters all over the place, video games, free food, free drinks, all that kind of stuff. So we incorporated that in our office. And I thought, that's company culture right there. I'm going to give you something to drink, something to eat, and there's a video game to play, and you're going to be happy to work for iPro. Well, that wasn't the case. I just didn't see the big picture. We still have all those things. And so I'll go on. We've got a Pac Man arcade game. I'll go and play. I know there's a handful of people that work for us that love Pac Man, and I'll tell them, hey, I set the high score today on Pac Man. Well, they'll come in and they'll start playing it. That's a point for me to go in and have a conversation with the employees. So yes, it's playing a video game, but all of a sudden I get to know them on a personal level now. And so they know that open line of communication is there. And so we do that with our supervisors and managers to make sure that we're communicating whatever way we can with the employees. And again, our retention is very good. We have very, very low turnover since we started really investing in our company culture.
How long have you been doing that? And I'm guessing that you probably didn't do it right off the bat.
Not right off the bat. No, it was probably 7 years into business. And then just over the course of the last 6, 7 years, it's just kind of slowly morphed itself into what it is now.
Was there like an event, or maybe you noticed a lot of maybe poor retention where you're like, I gotta fix this up? Was there something like that happening where you started thinking about this culture thing?
Yeah. I mean, we're in an agricultural area. So come springtime, summer, if you're trying to find workers, they're all out in the fields. And so it's hard to keep people. But now when they come in, it's like, hey, if you come work for us, we're going to celebrate you. And there's no downtime. Like when agricultural season slows down for the fall and winter, you guys are out looking for work. You come work here and then you leave again in the summertime. We're going to give you year round steady work. We're going to pay you very well and we're going to take care of you. And so they just love it. And it's not that we're really reinventing any wheel. We're just putting it out in the spotlight that these
Yeah,
little small wins equate to a big win for the company.
100%. Yeah, I think I remember reading or hearing somewhere that when employees or people in general, they get points, rewards, and recognition at work or
Mhm.
in any environment, they tend to stick around much longer because that not being recognized and people's all the hard work they put in, all the stuff that they do, if it's not recognized, they don't have a ton of motivation to keep coming back,
Right.
if you will.
Yep.
So that's a great strategy. um Edwin, you talked about social media posts, and I noticed that you're pretty active on LinkedIn. Instagram, TikTok, and all of that, and you've got some pretty solid videos and following there.
Mhm.
So my question is, what do you post in there, and how do you come up with your ideas on what to post?
Sure. Yeah. LinkedIn is more focused towards the business and again, towards my people. So I'm talking about anniversaries that they've had and we're posting that all over the place. But then I'll just talk about certain milestones that I've done or, the team has done. We'll put that all out there. The TikTok side of things, because over the years, you get on a podcast and all of a sudden a podcast gives you street cred. And so then I went on a podcast and people started calling me and reaching out to me wanting advice on how to grow their janitorial company. Like, hey, what did you do? You failed doing this and now you're doing it a different way. Like, can you help us? And so I started to do that. And I thought, you know what, TikTok is a platform, everybody used to go to YouTube to get all their advice on how to stuff. And I thought, I think TikTok is kind of what I'm looking at for people that are brand new in the commercial cleaning industry or a few years in the industry. And so I'm just sharing advice and tips and how-to videos on how to grow your business. So things that I've messed up on that I'm not going to do again. And I share those tips with everybody on there. So, like cleaning your equipment, you should have a cleaning equipment day. Or here's the 3 things that I suggest you do when you're out selling. Here's what a sales funnel is. And certain things, again, some people get into the industry and they know how to clean, but they don't know the business side of things. So I want to try to
Mhm.
give them some of that advice so that they can get some traction in starting their business.
So then, do you then coach other entrepreneurs in your industry on how to do this?
I do, yeah. So again, iPro morphed into my wife told me that I was taking up too much of my time helping out people and I was taking my time away from the business. So I started a janitorial consulting company and it's called Blueprint Janitorial Consulting. And so I really use TikTok for that piece as well. And so people come to me, how to start, what kind of templates do I need, that kind of stuff. So we'll do one-on-one consultations. I'll go to their actual facility and help them. I'll train their employees if needed. So anything that they need, that's what I'm there for to help them out with.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, by the way, very, very interesting social media content strategy, sharing about tips, things that you messed up on, things to keep an eye on. Seems like, correct me if I'm wrong. Seems like, yeah, you talk about your day to day activities and what happens. And am I wrong about that?
No, it's really day-to-day stuff. Yeah. And then stuff I've learned throughout all the years of being in this industry. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
just want to share it. I'm passionate about the industry and I want to see people succeed because the cleaning industry is hardly ever in the limelight. When the pandemic hit, that put us in the limelight. But now that the pandemic is pretty much, by the wayside, again, cleaning industry just isn't thought of as, an industry that people need.
Oh yeah. I gotta put it. It's running in my mind. Like, I'm amazed by their strategy or culture strategy with the cleaning industry, and because I know it's a huge problem. I know a couple of guys that run it up here in Calgary, and they're always looking for people, and they're always having problems. Like they even if they here, so here's a problem. You tell me if it's wrong, if I'm on the wrong track.
Mhm.
They work really hard, get a contract, and when it comes to delivery, they don't have the team members.
Right. I've been guilty of that as well. But I learned my lesson from that. Like it can't happen that way. So, I always tell my managers now, it's like you've got your cleaner, and then we have our detailers and our supervisors. So we always have somebody to fill in if something happens, but then we also have people on our on deck. I like sports, so I kind of use those analogies sometimes. But we always have people on deck ready to go just in case. So we just continuously are interviewing people. So we love to look at our employees. Who are your friends? Who are your families? And so they're filling out applications. So we have stacks of applications. My HR manager here, she's got stacks of applications ready to go. So if we say, hey, somebody comes into my office on the sales team and says, hey, I just picked up an account, I need 3 cleaners. We've got a stack of applicants that we can go to if we don't have the right amount of employees that are already on our staff.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So tell us about some of the milestones that you have achieved along the way over the years.
Yeah, I think I talked about it earlier. Entrepreneurship is kind of a lonely journey, but when you start getting some achievements, it's kind of a feel good that you've done some stuff right. And I think really the biggest one for me that was just like the aha moment was, and I can't see it on my screen, but maybe on the viewers can see it. But I've got a couple of Inc. 5000 plaques back here. Maybe I can turn it right there. There you go. So a couple of
There
Inc.
you go.
5000s awards. And so what those are is it's being one of the 5,000 fastest growing privately held companies in America. And so they look at your revenues over a 3-year period to see what your growth is like. And the first time I got asked to apply for it, I thought, well, there's no way in heck I'm going to get on here as a cleaning company. Let's see what happens. And sure enough, I made it. And I think we were at 2,133 the first year we made it, and it was just an amazing experience. And we went to the big event that they had. It was down in San Antonio, so I got to rub elbows with some big players in the game, millionaires, billionaires, and I was able to pick their brains. And it's like, I want to be able to do this again. What do I need to do it again? And so they helped me with that, and I hustled. And when you get to a certain milestone, let's say you make your first 500,000, you got to redo your business if you want to get to the million. Then you get to the million, you got to reinvent your business to get to that 5 million mark. And so that's what I'm doing. And then the second year in a row, we made it again. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And time being, we're making the Inc. Regionals list, which is we're one of the top companies on the West Coast. You think about that, there's tech companies galore here, but then you got this little cleaning company called iPro that's on that list as well. So for me, it's a feel good. But again, I push that out to the employees. And I'm a sports guy, so you have banners that hang from the rafters when they win national championships and things like that. I've created those, and we hang them out where all the employees come in so that they can see that. They can see that their hard work has helped us achieve these goals. And the funny thing is they're always asking, hey, there's an empty spot right there. Are we getting another one? It's like, that's the plan. That's what we
That's our
want to do.
goal.
So yeah, but
Amazing.
and just recently here in town, like I said, it's a good old boy network here in town. And we do a lot of business outside of town. We cover multiple states, but I could care less if I got an award in a different state. But just a couple months ago, we were one of the 3 nominees for the Business of the Year in Wenatchee through the Chamber of Commerce. And for me, that's a huge achievement because I was born and raised here, and this is where I grew up. So to even be nominated for that is huge. We'll find out on March 5th if we won. But it's to me, that's a huge achievement. So these Inc. 5000s, they mean a lot, but they don't really mean as much as this nomination does, because it's just a feel good in your community to know that you've made a business that stands out, that people recognize. When they see the iPro logo, they know who iPro is. And so, yeah, I mean, those are some. I mean, there's a few recognitions that are on there, but those are the main ones that stick out to me.
I know we talked before we get started. We talked about a kind of a show that you were on. Can you talk about that?
I can, yeah. It was the show it's the world's largest entrepreneurial reality TV show. So it's kind of crazy. I think I got noticed from my TikTok, right? And so filled out an application. You go through this whole application process. This show has gained traction with a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners. For my season, there were 80,000 applicants that applied for the show, and I think it was like 120 of us made it to the show. And so
Wow.
it was crazy. Wes Bergman, he's a big time reality TV star from MTV Real World, Road Rules. I think he's on Trader right now. He's kind of the main host of the show, and it's his business. And so it's a business incubator that they put you in. And so to give you a quick recap of how it works, you show up in the morning. Well, pretty much it's 8 in the morning until 10, 11, 12 at night with cameras in your face all the time. But you get in, Wes teaches you a class for 2 to 3 hours. Then you break away. He gives you pretty much a task, an assignment to do for what you just learned in those 2 to 3 hours. Then you break out in pods of 10 to 13 people in all these different pods, and you have 10 minutes to write out a pitch of what you just learned. And at the end of the 10 minutes, everybody has to put their books down. One by one, you get called up. There's a judge that's there, and you read your pitch in front of your peers, and you're being judged at the same time. When you're done with your pitch, the judge asks you 4 questions, and you're scored on all those questions. They don't tell you how you're doing. They just move on to the next. After that, you go to dinner, and then they call it the blocks off. So the top person in each pod gets to go on the big stage in front of everybody. So they send you to the green room, and they say, okay, you're not going to read the pitch that you just put together. You have 10 minutes now to put a whole new pitch together, and this is the topic. And then you're going to come out and you're going to present it in front of 140 people with cameras and lights on you. So, I mean, it's a combination of nervousness, frustration, anxiety, excitement. But it's a once in a lifetime experience, and it was just amazing to be on that show. I can't wait for it to come out. It's probably 6 to 8 months. There's some really good parts in there that I think I excelled in, and so it'll be really cool to see it.
My God. That's amazing. That's amazing. The amount of pressure that you were on in that show. 10 minutes come up with a new
But
pitch.
oh yeah, but I mean, amazing entrepreneurs and everybody. It's almost like we've created a family. I mean, we've got Facebook groups now that we're all part of, and everybody connecting with everybody. And so, not just the learning piece, and not just the piece of it is a competition, but at the end of the day, we all walked away as friends. So
Oh
it was
yeah, and I'm
great.
guessing those are now people that you could rely on, call them up for advice and
Absolutely. I
support
mean,
and the rest
I
of it.
just got back on Monday, and I've been talking to a lot of them, a handful of them, up until we just started this show. Facebook
Oh yeah.
messaging, text messages. It's been great.
So you're kind of getting out of that lonely entrepreneurial world, and now you're pretty well connected to a bunch of other amazing people through different
Absolutely.
networks.
And the crazy thing is, I learned a lot about myself on this show too. So that was a good learning experience for me too.
That's amazing. Amazing. Edwin, what are some of the challenges that you faced while reaching those milestones that we talked about?
Yeah, I mean, number one again goes back to employees, and so we figured out a way with our company culture to figure that out. The next step was just myself as we started to grow. It's just getting myself out of the way, not micromanaging, and that was just a huge piece that I was putting up roadblocks by micromanaging my managers and supervisors. I just it's like I created this and I don't want to let go of it. I want to know what's going on at every waking minute. But as soon as I realized that I needed to step away and train my people the correct way, that's when the trajectory just started to take off for us. And so now it's more, I'm not into the day-to-day operations piece. I'm more into leadership mindset, working with my leadership team. That's where I put my focus on, because if they're trained right, they're going to train our employees right, and then the business is just going to be a well-oiled machine and continue to grow.
Oh yeah, very interesting. To get that seems like a common issue with a lot of entrepreneurs, getting ourselves out of the way so the
It's
business
tough.
can
It's
grow.
tough.
How did you get yourself out of the way?
I listened to my wife. I mean, she was just telling me, it's like, you've created this, you've worked your butt off, day in, day out. Like, it's time to let some of these managers that we've hired, prove themselves. They're wanting to prove themselves, and they're wanting to show you what you can do. And so, the second I gave them that opportunity, they ran with it. And some of the managers we have been with us for quite a few years now, and they share the same passion, the same vision that I have, and those are the kind of people that I want on board. And so I let them do their thing. They'll call me from time to time, but they know if a problem gets to me, it's gone through all these layers to get there, that it's a pretty big problem. But now, again, just with focusing on just the leadership aspect of things, I can really put the focus on my managers and say, hey, now that we're at a certain level, I want to send you guys to a conference in San Jose. I want to send you to a conference in Denver. I want to send you a conference in Dallas. I want you to learn from industry experts. And so I want to give them the opportunity so that they know, like, they haven't reached the top of where they can be. They can continue to grow with the company. The more we grow, the more
Oh
opportunities
yeah,
that they have.
that is amazing. That is amazing. So not only you're working on culture, but you're also working on training and educating them and improving them in all aspects of
It's
business and
how
life,
it's
so
how I
they
can
can
step
grow.
away if I need to go on vacation somewhere. Go sit on the beach in Cancun and have a cocktail while I know that the business is being taken care of.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. A lot of people think that once you reach a certain point, like Inc. 5000, being on the reality TV show and here and there, that people don't have a lot of problems. Are there any problems that may be holding you and your business back right
Yeah,
now?
I mean, there's always problems, and I'll tell you what, like, I don't let that stuff go to my head. Those are all humbling experiences, and it's great to celebrate it in the moment. But then it's like you got to keep pushing forward, because it's like, on the reality show, I had a great day, I killed it, and you were like celebrity status. But then the next day, if you weren't at that level again, people forgot who you were. And so I think as business owners, that's what happens too. And so, there's a ton of challenges and stuff, and roadblocks that are there. I like to quote philosophers. And the great philosopher Pitbull, he said, ask for money, get advice, ask for advice, get money twice. So I've been in this industry for quite a while, and I'm always trying to find a mentor. I'm always asking for advice, because you ask for that advice, you're going to get the money. If you try to go chase after that money, somebody's going to give you advice and put you in your place. And so I try to partner up and ask as many questions as I can, because, yeah, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I don't know everything. And if I don't know everything, again, back to my competitiveness, I'm going to find somebody that knows that answer so that I can learn from that. And it just helps because I can teach that to my staff as well.
Oh yeah. Um, Sometimes I do this, and I'm guilty of doing this, and as that is when I run into a problem, I try to fix it myself. I kind of struggle with it for like a week or two or three or maybe a month, and then I realize that I have a massive network of people, amazing entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants that I could call and ask advice. Then I kind of smarten up, make a call or two, and within like a minute, there is a
Solves it.
solution to
Yeah.
my problem. Do you ever do that? Sometimes I feel like I'm alone
No,
on that.
I'm completely with you. I'll try to figure it out, try to figure it out. And then it's like the light switch goes off, and it's like, you know what? Somebody has been in the trenches and has done this before. Why don't I just make the phone call? Humble up, put your pride aside, and just make the phone call. And sure enough, I mean, when I start when I start a new company or something, I'll go to somebody and they'll tell me this is a stupid idea. But then they'll tell me, but if you do this, this, and this, it could be a good idea. And so it's like, okay, so
Hmm.
what advice do you have? And then they fill you in on what's needed. So, and that's where, like, being a consultant, that's, to me, that's really rewarding, because people are asking me for advice, first off, which feels good because I'm no way, shape, or form an industry expert. But for them to come to me and ask that advice, it's like, yeah, you know what? I have actually done this before, and I can help you and set you on the path to success.
Amazing. And for me, almost every time I regret not calling my people
Right.
sooner. Every single time. Because sometimes I'm like, I worry about something for like a month, and then they're like, oh, something to the effect of just press this button and it will be fixed.
Hmm.
Right. And then I'm like, I cannot believe I just went through so much
Yeah.
stress.
Right.
And it was
Yep.
so simple, you know, all good. Well, it's part of the
It
journey, I
is.
guess, as we kind of smarten up and grow up and do that. So what's like a typical day for you look like? What does it
Yeah.
look
I
like?
mean, it's morphed over the years, but yeah, now it's starting the day in the gym. It's clearing my head. There's no phone. So that way I have no communication with anybody. I've got a home gym. It's down in the basement. I call it my dungeon. That's where I go. Got my weights, got my treadmill, and that's just where I decompress right when I wake up in the morning, do my thing in there. Starts me off on the right path. Get up, wake my daughter up, get her ready for school, get her lunch ready, get her breakfast ready, and then drop her off at school, and then I head into work. And so I've had this time for myself. I had the time with the family, and now let's get to work. And it used to be send 50 emails out before I leave the house. And that was as we were in the growing phase. But now I've been able to teach my managers and my salespeople, this is what you need to do every day. And so when I come in, it's more relaxed now. It's not high stress, high pressure. I get in, I know what I need to get done. Let's set up our Zoom meeting with all the managers. Let's meet with the sales team. Let's have a quick meeting. Let's get things done, and then let's get everybody set on the path so that they know what's going to happen for the day.
Love it. So great morning routine. What time do you usually
So
get
I'm an
up?
early riser. So I'm up between 4:30 and 5 in the morning.
Wow. And then what time do you go to bed?
Lately, it's been late, right around midnight, but I try to get to bed between 10 and midnight. Probably not healthy
Midnight.
that I
All
don't
right.
get as much
Good.
sleep, but I try. I try.
Yeah. And if I think I was reading in a book called Why We Sleep. I read that book, and it like multiple lights went off on the lack of sleep and how important it is to sleep. So if you
I'm going to
haven't
check it
read it,
out. Yeah.
pick it up as soon as you can. Why we? I think Bill Gates recommended that book somewhere I read, and I'm like, if Bill Gates says I should look into it, I
You should
probably
listen.
should.
Yeah.
Are you much of a reader yourself?
I am. I do a lot of windshield time, though. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of audiobooks.
All right. Give me two of your favorite books of all time, or two knowledge resources that has
Yeah.
worked
I
for you.
love Patrick Bet David. And I think one of my favorites from him is Your Next Five Moves. I just love listening to that, especially when I'm on the road, because I have transitioned into kind of coaching my leaders. Um, there's a guy here locally where I live. His name is Fletcher Ellingson, and he's an Amazon bestseller with his book, Amazon bestselling author, and he's got this book called The Practice of Feeling Good. And it's a great book. You know, he coaches me, he coaches my team, he coaches my leaders, and it's just a mindset. It's just changing your mindset in different ways, and he's been beneficial, highly beneficial to our company. I mean, having a coach at that level teach us what to do and how to take care of any issue that we have.
So is he coaching you guys on feeling good?
He is, yeah. But he's also helping us. You know, he does a little bit of everything. But that's just the thing is his feeling good is kind of how he gets you in that mindset. And then any issues that we're having, if there's employees that we need some kind of resolution, he's almost like the mediator for us as well. Don't do this. Calm down. This is how you're going to do it. So he helps you with your mindset.
Beautiful, beautiful. What's one piece of advice that made a big impact on your life or business?
Yeah, I've got a lot, but I think it just goes back to what I said from the philosophers, right? From Pitbull. Yeah, he's a rapper, but I mean, the beginning of that song is just ask for advice, or ask for money, get advice. Ask for advice, get money twice. And the more I hear that, and the more I think about that, it's just that's what it is. Entrepreneurs and business owners, we need the support. We need somebody that we can call, somebody that's on our lifeline that we can call and just get those questions answered for us. And I mean, really, that statement, it just really resonates with me.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
statement. It's and what I've experienced is when I ask for advice and I reach out for help, it takes less time, less cost, less stress, more sleep. I'm healthier, and it's just so much better versus trying to figure it out
Yeah.
on my own. What's your
I mean,
experience
there's
on that?
nothing wrong with trying to figure it out. And I think in the beginning, that's what we do. We're trying to figure it out because we're trying to learn. And, I see that from my son. He's in the business right now too. And he's eager to learn. So he wants to go and do it himself, but he's missing steps here and there, which is perfectly fine. It's a learning piece for him. And it was the same way for me. But now that I'm older and I've been in the industry longer, it's like, okay, yeah, I can shoot a text, I can send out an email, I can make a phone call, and then I can get my question answered just like that. And like you said, I can sleep better at night. I get my question answered, and they don't even skip a beat. They know exactly what to tell me on how to solve my issue. And I mean, that to me is worth whatever cost it takes, like to save the time that it'll save me. My time investment is anybody's time is worth a lot of money. So just to pick up that phone and get a question answered right away, I mean, that's big time right there.
Love it, love it. Edwin, is there a question that I should have asked that I didn't? And if I did, it would add value to people that are watching or listening? And if so, what is the question and the answer?
I mean, honestly, no, but I guess really the biggest thing, that I look at too is just that I think anybody can be an entrepreneur, and being on this reality show just kind of it hit me in a different way. We had people in their 60s that were just starting their businesses, and it's not too late to start your own business. There was a kid who was 16 years old in high school. He was on this show, and he was starting his entrepreneurial journey. So from 16 all the way up to 62, and everybody in between, and everybody in different stages of their businesses. Like, if you have an idea, life's too short. Just roll with it, see what happens, and you never
Yeah,
know what could happen. But yeah, I mean, just everybody's got it in them, and if you've got that urge to try something, just do it. It's worth it.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Just go for it.
Yeah,
Don't be scared. Run
yeah.
for your idea and see what happens. And Edwin, this was another amazing episode that we just did. It
Had a great
usually
time.
turns out much better than I think, and I'm guessing that I was like almost, I run the show like a few times a week now, and every show that I talk, I'm like, I wish I would have booked like 2 3 hours with you, and then we could have just geeked out on a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, there's almost every entrepreneur has a great story. They're like you have a lot of knowledge and expertise that we could tap into, and there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
So
No,
thank you
these are
for that.
great.
That was great. Great, you shared some value bombs, some amazing information, things that people that are watching or listening now or later could apply to their business, and they could reach out. Speaking of which, how can listeners reach out to you?
Yeah, so we talked about LinkedIn. I'm big on LinkedIn. You can just search me up, Edwin Eaton. You can search my business, iPro Building Services. It's on there as well. Again, TikTok. If you're a new business owner, you just want to learn how to grow your business. It's cleaning consultant is my handle on TikTok, and those are pretty much the two main ones that I use.
Beautiful. If I could get you to please, either me or you, we will put your social links and LinkedIn. I mean, if people are watching on LinkedIn, they are seeing this, but we'll
Hmm.
try to hook up the TikTok handle there as well.
Yeah,
And gang, you've been watching and listening to the Executive Hub Show. Another great episode with my guest, Edwin Eaton. And if you just joined us later in the show, go back, watch this from the beginning. He shared a
yes,
lot of good stuff. And if you know a cleaning company, a janitorial company that is struggling and or could use some help, have shared the link with
reach out.
them. Reach out, say hi. It doesn't hurt, and you could, like you said, ask for advice, and you get money twice.
There you
So
go.
there you go. And so thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in our next episode. My guest here, Edwin Eaton. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you later.